Hi there, and today I have received this gorgeous box of mica powders from Craft Resin, and it's the same Craft Resin that I use when I use their actual resin. So today I'm going to make a really gorgeous plate, and I'm going to be using this, which is an insider, a DRUZY insider. It's made of silicone. It comes from Art for Start. And you can see I've used it quite a few times already, and you'll see those videos in upcoming video tutorials. So I am using some craft resin, one of these molds, and I'll list the link down below for that, and this new box of mica powders made for and by Craft Resin. So let's get all the colours out because there's quite a selection here. You can see this box is pretty deep. I think that's all. About all of them. So as you can see, there are loads and loads and loads of them, so I'm not going to go through all of them, but I'll just give you a quick preview by flicking through like a deck of cards to all the colours. There, Space Cosmic, that's a fun name. Mauve, etc, 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 etc. I'm not going to name them all, I will bore you to death. So a couple of golds, lots of golds actually. And then my two favourite for today, at least, because I'm kind of in an amethyst mood lately. Lavender and aubergine, so might use both of them, might not, we'll see. So let's get on with the tutorial. Before I do, what I am going to do is go downstairs to my sink and use some warm soap and water to get rid of all the old... See, that was a blue. That's for another tutorial. I'm going to get rid of all the old bits of resin and clean up the back a bit, and that will help it stick down properly. So I'm going to go downstairs and wash both of these with just some warm water and some dish soap. Right, so these have had a good clean and I've dried them thoroughly, and look how brand new and clean they look. Everything's gone. There was lots of mica powder stuck to the back and dried up resin in the middle, but I've given it a good rinse, and I am going to place this flat side down, as central as possible, and let them stick to each other because they're both silicone, and when they're really clean they kind of suck onto each other. So I'm going to measure this out and work out how much resin I need for a circular shape. And if you haven't seen that tutorial on how to measure the volume of your molds, do check that out. It's also in the beginners playlist if you want to see that and some other relevant videos for beginners. So I've measured this, and it's a 25 diameter in circle, and it's a 0.7 centimeter height, and I've worked out that I would need about 343 milliliters, so I'm going to round that up to 350. And Craft Resin does say to combine equal amounts, so it's a 1-to-1, to stir really well for 3 minutes, at least 3 minutes. Pour and spread over a project, and then blow gently on bubbles or use a torch, and then wait 24 hours. Now 24 hours is the initial cure. 12 hours is what I call half of that cure, and that means if you want to take it out of the mold, you can. It will still be bendy, but that does mean that if you're in a rush and you need to reuse your mold, take it out after 12 hours and place it on a flat surface to cure completely, at least 24 hours. And then you'll need to wait at least a week for it to be food safe and even cup safe. And just in case you didn't know, it's got a UV protection, it's odorless, and it really is. It hardly smells at all. It's non-toxic, there are no VOCs, not flammable, and bubble free. And for 350 milliliters of a 1-to-1 ratio resin, I will need 175 of each. So if you still haven't downloaded one of these ratio charts, head over to my thank you giveaway free gift to all of my YouTube subscribers, and you can download one of these. So that's it, that's my resin mixed up for just over 3 minutes. Make sure that you do this for a minimum of 3 minutes to make sure that parts A and B are correctly mixed. So I've got 2 clean cups, and yes, they are clean. These are reused cups, completely dried, and I can pour straight into them, and none of that blue that you see will mix with any of that. So there, recycling. So I've got my purples, and I'm just trying to work out which one to use. I think I might go for it and go for the deeper purple of these. That's a really lovely light purple, and this lavender is a little deeper, so let's go for that. And I'll pour in about, why not about that much? It's about a teaspoonful. Got one of these handy little spatulas for each cup, and that's about half a cup, and that's just to go around the edges because I don't want that opaque colour to seep too much over there. And then in this cup I have literally put, and when I say a drop I mean a tiny drop of pigment paste. This is amethyst pigment paste, and it's just a tiny bit, and that might look a bit transparent to you, but then when you get a bit more depth it actually looks more opaque, so we're going to go with that. So around the edges I am going to place this lavender. And I don't want too much because that will then eventually mix with the clear and become more opaque, and I really do want that druzy center to show. So let's push into the edge, and this also helps with any air bubbles that get stuck in the corners of these irregular shaped molds and cause little holes on the edges. So make sure not to scratch your silicone mold with anything else but something silicone. Silicone and silicone won't scratch as much as they would a wooden stick would scratch. So all the way along the edge, and then we are going to pour in the purple, and that really is a lovely light shade of purple. Right into the center, and this is actually a really easy technique to do. It's really not that hard. Now a little bit of the torch, and I'm going to put it on quite low because these silicone molds, they don't really like too much heat. So just enough to pop surface bubbles and go around fast, give it a little rest so it doesn't burn, and then keep going round. And I'm going to leave this for about 10 minutes and see what it's doing. This has been drying now overnight, and it's still a bit pliable, as you can see, so I'm going to unmold it because this is actually the best time to unmold this before it's completely cured. And there, let's take that away, and I am going to gently turn it, and I am just going to very carefully peel up those very thin wafer bits that you've seen in the last video, and then I am going to just push back here and just peel it back like that, and all the way around. Do be careful with it in case you see any more little wafer bits. Just make sure you get your fingernail or something sharp underneath. There, look, that's really thin. And then peel all the way around. And wiggle it under, and those pieces might slightly break off a bit, but that's not a problem. All the way around. And you will have to go slow with this and carefully, and a little bit of patience wouldn't go amiss. So my neighbour's making a lot of noise. And same thing for these areas here, just pull back carefully. And as long as you're delicate, everything will come off in one piece. There as well, there's a little bit of seepage, which is normal. So just wiggle, and there. So with these final little bits here, you can just pull them off. And just look at that gorgeous glass effect. Isn't it beautiful? So there you can see where some of that mica powder has spilt over. It gives a lovely effect. It's still transparent, and the edges are not, which is a lovely look. You can see my hand underneath. So if you wanted this to be a cake stand or a plate, you would lay this flat. As I said, it's still a little bendy, look. You would lay this flat completely to cure completely for a week. And do leave it an entire week before you attempt to use it for any food or for anything warm, which may leave a mark on it. So here is what you would do if you wanted to make a bowl out of this. You would take something shallow. This is a serving tray. And you place it in the middle, and watch, it's actually going down on its own. But you'd want to gently just push in the middle on all the sides. And you wouldn't need to put any plastic underneath, because this is, as I said, it's had at least 12 hours of a cure. And it won't actually stick on this any longer. And I'm going to leave that to completely cure. I mean, in any case, I can't touch it for a whole week if I want it to fully cure. And then I will do my retouching on the sides with the gilding. Right, so here it is after about a week's cure. It finally hardened, and I've done all the gilding on the sides. I've added some of those acrylic diamond, plastic diamonds with a little bit of UV resin. I've just got 4 spaced equally as much as I can, and just look at that shine. Bring you up to the window. Isn't that gorgeous? And I just love the way the little bit of purple has peeked through. And if you want to know how I made this matching candle holder, that will be the next video. So do look out for that. That'll be next week. And it's using the same insert mold as I've used for this one. As it's coming up to Halloween, I thought we could put some candy in there. That's a great idea. It could be a fruit bowl, could be anything you wanted really. So I hope you've enjoyed this tutorial, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.